I've told the story before, like before there was a Kickstarter or Indiegogo, we created a website called Red State Green that was about generating the budget for that movie Red State I wanted to make off of the audience. I had 1 million MySpace followers. So I was like, look, if they give us $1 a piece, we could totally make this movie. I don't need to go through a studio. And we were set up to launch like 1 week from this date. But then I went and did an interview. I was in Canada. I did an interview. I think I was there talking about, it was either Zach Amiri or I was there talking about the Walter Gretzky Street Hockey Tournament. And somebody asked me, like, what are you doing next for a film? And I said, oh, we're going to actually make that movie Red State I've been talking about for years, but we're going to do it like with the audience. The audience is going to pay for it. Like people that have been asking me to see it for years. So 2 days later, a guy wrote an article that said, ew, Kevin Smith's going to beg for money for his next movie. And it scared the shit out of me. I felt humiliated because he presented it in a way where I was like, well, I didn't think of it like that. Like I thought of it as like the audience wants to see it. We can make it happen through the audience, through a sense of community, through this community I built. Then I got scared, turned back on my heels, instantly killed it. Killed the website, which we spent 20 grand building. And because again, Kickstarter didn't exist yet. So I got scared, walked away. Kickstarter comes along. Zach Braff then becomes the first filmmaker who raises the entire budget of a movie off of the audience using crowdsourced financing. And, you know, it's not like, and that movie was Star Wars, you know, it doesn't matter what the movie was. He was the first through the door and I could have been, but I got scared. A stranger scared me off of what I knew was a good idea. Didn't matter whether I was right or wrong. It was blazing a new trail and I got scared and I didn't do it. And I regretted it to this day. It bugs me that I sold out on myself because somebody was like, ew, I don't get it. I'll tell you right now, boys, if the internet had existed before I made Clerks, I probably would have never even tried to make it. The internet is a very negative place where everybody just wants to tell you like, that's stupid. Don't do that. You're going to get hurt. That's dumb. Go ahead. Like that. You got to find enthusiasm. You got to hold on to it. That's the secret. That's the key. And my enthusiasm for taking Killroy out as an NFT has never waned. Thankfully, the good folks at Legend DAO, at Secret Network, came to us with a better incarnation of what David and I were talking about. We were talking about, we'll auction it to one person. They were like, don't do that. Let's do it as a series of NFTs that we could put out there into the world so a bunch of people could get it. And then you're going to show people at a low price point because, you know, some shit's expensive. Our shit's like $100, a couple $100, whatever the price point is for the Killroy NFT. Very affordable. The idea is you get to bring some people from your world into this mystifying Web3 community, into the world of NFTs and stuff, because all they've heard are articles that they've read the first 2 sentences of, or a friend has told them what this is and it's a scam. I've been spending so much time re-educating people going, how is it a scam? If like you want a movie, the NFT is on a movie, you're buying the NFT with the movie, congratulations, you have it all. Plus you own that piece of generative art. Like, it's not like a scam. And I understand, like, they've heard so many things and so many people have come into the space, but those people are now, you know, the people that don't know what to do with the space, just came to try to make some money, that's dissipating right now. And what you're left with is the true creatives who are like, what can we do with this technology? And what I want to do with it is this, because I guarantee you the moment this happens, if it makes a nickel, like you're going to buy another version of fucking T2 on NFT, because every studio will release their entire fucking catalog the same way. There's one more place where we could sell our wares. Great. And I know they're watching, like, and it's not paranoid talk. I've heard from studio people who are like, I'm watching. This is brilliant. I hope this fucking works. And that's not them going, good for you, Kev. That's them going, because if it works, we're going to fucking make money off of it as well. Because if a chimp like you could figure it out, the real money people could figure it out next. So I'm stoked. I'm enthusiastic as hell at this point in time as we, you know, come to our first historic drop, man. Like, will it work? I hope so. We seem to have a strong community behind us, and the good folks at Secret and Legend DAO have been tireless in kind of promoting us, getting us out there and stuff. But even if it doesn't work financially or whatnot, we still have those nice bragging rights of like, we did it first. I won't have much of that in my life going forward. I'm getting older. I'm not as relevant and shit. There's hot new things coming up all the time. I don't make Marvel movies or Star Wars movies. I just love them and shit. So at the end of the day, like, my opportunity to be the first through the door, you know, those chances are dwindling. I've had my chances. I'm not bitching. My whole career has been a series of like first through the door. But, you know, it's infectious. And when you start to lose that, you know, when you just become part of the standard. I remember there was a review and TV Guide, which was a magazine we used to read to watch television when we were kids. There was a review and TV Guide of Saturday Night Live. And I think it's like 10, 15 years into its run. And the article said, when the outlaw becomes the law, it's just not the same anymore. The supposition was this show can't be what it was because now they are part of the establishment. I didn't personally believe it. I think SNL has been able to maintain their status, you know, even though they are part of the establishment for years. So that always haunted me, that quote. Like, and I started my career as an absolute outlaw. You know, I didn't come from this business. I was an outlier, to say the least. There's something to being that your whole career. You know, you can't be that when you're part of the fucking landscape at this point. Like, I ain't saying I'm like, I belong on the Mount Rushmore film, but I've been around 3 decades. Like, motherfuckers know, like, yeah, that's Kevin Smith. He does Kevin Smith type movies and shit like that. So the ability to surprise, to bring something new to the table, to the conversation, eludes me the older I get. This is a perfect opportunity to do that. It's a perfect opportunity to be like, hey, maybe you guys don't know about this, but there's this playground over here in Web3 that we can all go at. And if you're not interested, great. But I'm very interested because I could build community here. I've already know where the sequel's coming from. You know how hard it is to come up with a sequel? It's very easy when you're like, guess what? I'm going to make the sequel with the people that bought the fucking NFT, man. Like, problem solved. Like, it's just fun and invigorating. And for a creative who's never been about like money, don't get me wrong, I'm no communist. I like making money, but that has never been the aim. The aim is to put something out there that hadn't been done before. Say something that hasn't been said before. That's all I could bring to this life. That's the currency that I can bring to the table. The currency I can spend is the currency of my own voice, my own perspective. And this is a chance to do it like one more time. It's like, you know, I'm coming out in a couple months with Clerks 3. And I love the movie and it's fantastic. And we're going to tour it like we did Jay and Silent Bob reboot. But, you know, it is 3. So it's not like anyone's going to be like, what's this about? You know, it better be about the shit they're expecting. Otherwise we fuck up. So I can't really surprise them with that. Can't surprise them with the Clerks tour because we've already toured reboot. And they're like, that's what Kevin does. He tours movies. So to be able to surprise your audience, to be able to keep the story going, to be able to have people be like, well, that's interesting. You have to do new shit. This is as new as it fucking gets. And it's so new that I've been taking a lot of shit for it. You know, a bunch of people who don't understand it are like, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm used to that. People tell me I'm dumb every day in my life. You know, every day I jump online, there are a bunch of people who tell me like, oh, everything you do is wonderful. And there are a handful of people who tell me you suck and everything you've done is terrible. So you got to find your truth somewhere between the two. They're probably both right on some level. But at the end of the day, this little piece of real estate, you know, where it's like, hey, we can go out there as the first minted NFT. I'm sticking my ground on it, man. Like, I feel good about this. I'm not saying like, and history is made, but a little bit of history is being made. So I'm enjoying it.
Yes, great perspective. To watch the full conversation, there's a link down below in the video description. And if you're interested in learning more about cryptocurrency, click subscribe. We drop a video every single day. You do not want to miss one. See you tomorrow.